Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Astar Sata Sri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 7, The Killing of the Demon Trinavarta. Today we're going to read text 16 and 17. 16 has just a one-sentence purport, so I'll read that one myself, and then we'll chant text 17 together. So text 16. I'll read it myself. Gava sarva gunapeta vasashrag rukmamalini atman jabyundayartaya pradate chanvayunjata. Translation. Nanda Maharaj, for the sake of the affluence of his own son Krishna, gave the Brahmanas cows fully decorated with garments, flower garlands, and gold necklaces. These cows, fully qualified to give ample milk, were given to the Brahmanas in charity, and the Brahmanas accepted them and bestowed blessings upon the whole family, and especially upon Krishna. Purport. Nanda Maharaj first fed the Brahmanas sumptuously and then gave them in charity first-class cows, fully decorated with golden necklaces, garments, and flower garlands. Text 17. Vipra mantra vido yuktas tayar ya proktas tata shishaha ta nishpala bhavishyanti na kadachit api sputam vipra mantra vido yuktas tarya proktas tata shishaha tanishpala bhavishyanti na kadachit api sputam vipra mantra vido yuktas tarya proktas tata shishaha tanishpala bhavishyanti na kadachit api sputam vipra mantra vido yuktas Tairya proktas tata shishaha tanishpala bhavishyanti na kadachit api sputam vido yuktas Vaishnavis, mantra vido yuktas, something. Vipra mantra vido yuktas Tairya proktas tata shishaha Nishpala bhavishyanti mantra vido yuktas Tairya proktas tata shishaha Vipraha, the Brahmanas, mantra vidaha, completely expert in chanting the Vedic hymns. Yuktaha, perfect mystic yogis. Tai, by them. Yaha, whatsoever. Proktaha, was spoken. Tata, becomes just so. Ashishaha, all blessings. Taha, such words. Nishpalaha, useless, without fruit. Bhavishyantina, never will become. Kadachit, at any time. Api, indeed. Sputam, always factual, as it is. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Brahmanas, who were completely expert in chanting the Vedic hymns, were all yogis fully equipped with mystic powers. Whatever blessings they spoke were certainly never fruitless. Please repeat. The Brahmanas, who were completely expert in chanting the Vedic hymns were all yogis, fully equipped with mystic powers. Whatever blessings they spoke were certainly never fruitless. Purport. Brahmanas fully equipped with the Brahminical qualifications are always yogis fully powerful in mystic yoga. Their words never fail. In every transaction with other members of society, Brahmanas are certainly dependable. In this age, however, one must take into account that the Brahmanas are uncertain in their qualifications. Because there are no yajnik Brahmanas, all yagyas are forbidden. The only yajna recommended in this age is Sankirtan yajna. Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumeda Saha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Yajna is meant to satisfy Vishnu. Yagnartat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Because in this age there are no qualified brahmanas, people should perform yajna by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumeda Saha. Life is meant for yajna, and yajna is performed by the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the verse again, the Brahmanas, who are completely expert in chanting the Vedic hymns, were all yogis fully equipped with mystic powers. Whatever blessings they spoke were certainly never fruitless. So it's interesting to contemplate what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport about fully qualified brahmanas possessing mystic powers. And we can try to understand philosophically how that's true. Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. The soul, the individual jiva soul, is part and parcel of me, Krishna says, my eternal fragmental part. So the part of Krishna can display the qualities of Krishna, and Krishna is Yogeshwara. He's the master of all mystic potencies. So by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, it is possible for a qualified devotee, and Srila Prabhupada said that a devotee, a Vaishnava, is automatically a Brahmana. If one is a qualified Vaishnava, one possesses the qualities of a Brahmana. And that is one reason why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, introduced Brahminical initiation, because he wanted the devotees of Krishna, the Vaishnavas, to be recognized as possessing the qualities of Brahmanas. Apparently, it wasn't always done, before Bhaktisiddhanta. But, Srila Prabhupada made a point of mentioning that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did that. So a pure devotee or a fully qualified brahmana, according to this purport and verse, would possess these mystic powers. But it's not necessary for them to manifest them. And, there's some verses in the Bhagavatam that speak about this topic. For example, there's the description of Narada Muni in the first canto, 1.539. Narada Muni was explaining to Srila Vyasadeva his previous history and how he came to occupy his position. And he was explaining how he was meditating on the Lord in the form of transcendental sound. And he said, thus, by the Supreme Lord Krishna, I was endowed first with transcendental knowledge of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas, then with the spiritual opulences, those are the mystic powers, and then with his intimate loving service. So Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport that, quote, the Lord reveals his identity gradually to one who has unflinching faith both in the spiritual master and the Lord. After this, the devotee is endowed with mystic opulences, which are 8 in number. Those are the 8 yogic siddhis. And above all, the devotee is accepted in the confidential entourage of the Lord and is entrusted with specific service of the Lord through the agency of the spiritual master. And then follows this very important sentence. A pure devotee is more interested in the service of the Lord than showing an exhibition of the mystic powers dormant in him. So once, Srila Prabhupada was at a Pandal program in India, and a man in the audience asked him a question. He said, can you display some miracle, some mystic potency? And it was a very famous event, and Srila Prabhupada said yes, and he pointed to his Western disciples and said, this is my miracle, this is my mystic potency, that I've converted these mlechas into Vaishnavas. So that's a display of mystic power. And that's what the pure devotee, the real brahmana, is interested in doing, not for some name and fame, to make some show of some mystic powers, but rather to serve the Lord according to the direction of the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, had specifically ordered him to spread Krishna consciousness in the Western world in the English language. And in his poem on arrival in the Boston harbor, Srila Prabhupada had revealed his confidential inner feelings that this appeared to be an impossible task. But somehow or other, by the order of Krishna, the order of the spiritual master, the potency is there. And, he prayed, for, the ability to carry out that order, and he did. And it's miraculous, that from that simple beginning, the whole International Society for Krishna Consciousness has manifested all over the world. Another verse from the Bhagavatam where this topic of devotees, possessing mystic powers is mentioned is in connection with the history of Rishabhadev, who was a Shakyavesh incarnation of the Lord. In the 5th canto, chapter 5, text 35, it said, Rishabhadev performed wonderful activities. He was always absorbed in transcendental love. Due to this, all mystic powers automatically approached him, such as the ability to travel in outer space at the speed of mind, the ability to appear and disappear, to enter the bodies of others, and to see things far, far away. Although he could do all this, he did not exercise these powers. So Srila Prabhupada mentions this many times. Although a devotee may possess some of these mystic powers, he's not very eager to display them. Displays other kinds of powers, the potency of preaching and expanding the Krishna consciousness movement in the world, especially in the age of Kali. It's miraculous that it can be done. So often I'm very struck by the miraculous activities of devotees in preaching and expanding the Krishna consciousness movement around the world. It's very amazing, if we analyze it. But as I was saying in the beginning, because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, it is possible for the soul to manifest, these powers. And, sometimes we can see examples of that. For example, there are people in this world who are able to manifest the power of seeing things at a distance. This is one of the mystic powers. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna explains to Uddhava about the mystic powers. There are 8 principal ones and 10 secondary ones. So among the secondary mystic powers is one called Durdarshana, the ability to see at a distance. If you're from India, you know that the name of the national television company is Doordarshan, which means seeing at a distance. It's a name for television. But it's a reference to this mystic power that's listed in the Vedas. So there are apparently some people even today who possess a power like this. They're called remote viewers. And even the United States government, its military and intelligence services have employed remote viewers to try to get knowledge about what's going on in different foreign countries. And once I was speaking at a conference in Montreal, and I met one of the people that had been involved in these remote viewing efforts. His name was Stephen Schwartz. And he held a lecture and a workshop at the conference. So he came to my lecture, I came to his. And he said it's actually an ability that everyone has, but like any other ability, some people possess more of it and some less, like musical talent or mathematical talent. But it can be developed. So he did an experiment. There were about 100 of us participating in this workshop. And he took 3 of the people and he said, get in a taxi, go anywhere you want in the city. And when you get to that place, try to mentally send the imagery to us back here. Wherever you are, meditate on that place, send it, try to send the imagery back here. And he gave them a video camera to tape the place where they went. So the 3 people left, and he told them, go anywhere within a 15-minute driving radius. So we waited for 15 minutes. And during the 15 minutes, he was explaining to us, when the time comes, just empty your minds and then report whatever imagery comes into your mind. And so, I did that. The first image that came into my mind was a candle and a red glass holder. And then, we were asked to meditate on what we see when we look up, when we look down, to the right, to the left, to the front, to the back, write it all down. So I did. And then after some time, the people came back from wherever they had gone, and they put the videotape into the player. And the first image that came up was candles and red glass holders. They had gone to a cathedral. And several people had gotten it right. I was one of them. But there was another scientist at this conference. His name was Rupert Sheldrake. And he had done some experiments showing that people have these kinds of extrasensory abilities. Have you ever had the feeling that somebody is staring at the back of your head? You're just walking along, then you just have the feeling somebody's staring at you, and you look, and there's the person staring at you. It's something that can be tested. He did a workshop at this conference. Again, there were about 100 people in the workshop, and he divided us into pairs. And the experiment was set up like this. A person would sit in a chair in front of another person who was behind them, and the person behind them had a list of 20 instructions. First, look at the back of the head, don't look, don't look, 20 instructions. And the person in front has to say at any particular time whether the person is staring at the back of their head or not. And if you assume there's no mystic powers, no extrasensory ability, then you'd expect the person would get it right 50% of the time, because that's what you'd get by chance. But they ran the experiment, and I think I got it right 75% of the time, and I think that was about the average that people were getting. They were stating correctly whether or not somebody was staring at the back of their head 75 or 80% of the time, which is much greater than you would expect if it were just chance. You'd expect 50% correct answers. So the point is that the soul does have the ability to express mystic potency, some greater than others. But even if a devotee does fully possess all of the mystic powers, like Srila Prabhupada would have, for example, a pure devotee like him would surely have those abilities. But they don't manifest them. They're not interested in doing that. And they're not, Srila Prabhupada said a few times, so, okay, some people can walk on water, but what's the big deal? He said, you can go by boat over the water, for a few dollars. Like, say, if you wanted to go to Catalina Island and you had the mystic power of walking on water, well, yeah, you could do it, but you can go by boat. Or he said, some yogis, they have the ability, there was one yogi that he knew that somebody would come to visit him, he would manifest 2 sweet balls. He said, well, what's so great about that? You can go in for a few pice in a sweet shop, you can buy a few sweet balls. Not so important. And as far as blessings go, Srila Prabhupada was very critical. He would say, yes, people, they come to a spiritual master, they just want some blessing. They don't want Krishna consciousness. They don't want real instruction in spiritual life. They just want some benefit. It's called asirvad. Yes, Maharaj, give me your asirvad. Give me your asirvad. Of course, there was one devotee transcribing a conversation of Srila Prabhupada where he made a mistake. He wrote acid bath. Because somebody was saying, Srila Prabhupada was saying, yes, they go to the spiritual master, they ask to be cured of some disease. Yes, Maharaj, cure me of my disease by giving me some asirvad. So the devotee who was transcribing the lecture thought he was saying acid bath. I think they've corrected it in the Veda base now. But Srila Prabhupada wasn't very fond of that kind of approach to spiritual life, just asking for blessings. The real blessing, just like Prahlad Maharaj, Lord Nrsingadev, after killing Hiranyakashipu, asked him to accept any benediction. And he only wanted pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It's like Lord Chaitanya prays, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kame Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhagavad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twayi. The devotee is not interested in accumulating material asirvad, followers, money, whatever material advantage we can think of. The devotee is not interested in that. The devotee is simply asking for the opportunity to serve Krishna lifetime after lifetime. And not even necessarily in the spiritual world, even returning to the world of birth and death, lifetime after lifetime, to serve the Supreme Lord. That is the desire of the Lord, the Lord's pure devotees. And in this age, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, the way to serve the Lord is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Vikevalam, Kalau Nasteva, 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 Gatir Anyata. In this age of Kali, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport, The only jagya that is really effective is the jagya of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the ability to get others to take up that chanting, that's the real mystic power. So we have lots of mystic yogis here who have that power. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay, Sura Prabhu.
So we were all sitting here thinking, boy, we're lucky, because what if the spiritual master did give an acid bath? And then you corrected it at the end of class and said, it's not acid bath, it's asarba.
Right.
But it was in a lecture.
Yeah, it was in a couple of places, in a lecture and a conversation, no acid bath. Brigapati Prabhu.
Thank you, Boo. Wonderful class. In that verse you quoted from the first canto, it seems to clearly state that that somebody becoming a pure devotee, they're given these mystic opulences, right? So, do they possess them like a person possesses a car? Like, for instance, say I possess a car. Anytime I like, I can just go hop in that car and drive it someplace. Is it like that? Because the reason I'm asking that question is because from different things I've heard Prabhupada say in lectures, I've always got the impression more like that he's protected by those mystic opulences. In other words, he doesn't do anything to make any endeavor to acquire them, nor does he really possess them in the sense like a person possesses a car and can just hop in the car and drive it. But when they're required to assist him in some way, because Krishna is Yogeshwar, as you pointed out, they'll be there. It's actually Krishna's holding him, and it's like...
There are statements that Srila Prabhupada makes that indicate what you're saying. And I wrote it down here, but there's one purport where he's explaining how the devotees are simply surrendered to Krishna. Said like Maharaj Ambarish was surrendered to Krishna. So even though he was confronted by this big mystic yogi who possessed all these mystic powers, Durvasa Muni, Krishna manifested the ability to protect him against that. Or when Draupadi was being disrobed, Krishna protected her, supplying endless cloth. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the devotees are like that. Krishna's Yogeshvara, he's in control of all these mystic powers. They're simply surrendered to him, and if there's some need, Krishna will manifest these things. Archita Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a nice class, including your experiences with those experiments. But on this point that Brigapati Prabhu raised, there are examples of the other side, where the devotees are consciously in control of those mystic powers, just like Hanuman. Hanuman was consciously in control of Mahima city. He could make himself big as whatever he wanted at any time. Dhruva Maharaj, he was consciously in control of those cities when he was fighting against those demons. He manifested so many mystic opulences. So it's not always that the devotee is passively waiting for Krishna to do something.
Yeah,
sometimes the
true.
devotees have those conscious control of those cities and they use them when they want to.
That's true. Thank you for that. Yes.
Is So is it also true that the devotees, they might not be fully at the pure state, but they have the mystic powers manifest?
Oh yeah, it's even totally demoniac people can possess mystic powers. Yeah, so, and in general, there are many statements in Shastra that say devotees shouldn't aspire for mystic powers. What is it? Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Ashanta. The devotees are peaceful because they don't aspire either for bhukti, material enjoyment, mukti, liberation, or siddhis, yogic powers. So there are many statements where devotees are actually discouraged from seeking such things. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.